51, you're listening to Here and Now. If you were pressed to define what Canadian cuisine is, would you know what to say? Well, Toronto chef Suman Roy is used to trying to answer that question. So he wrote a cookbook on it, and it's turning a lot of heads. Recently, he found out that he's won the Gourmand Cookbook Award for Best Culinary History Book in English. His book is called Pemmican to Poutine, A Journey Through Canada's Culinary History, and he'll be receiving the award in Paris in March. But first, Chef Suman joins me now. Hello, congratulations.
Thank you.
I've got the book right here, Suman, and it is just a gorgeous book, beautiful color photographs. Why did you write this book?
It's really a funny story. A few years ago, I was traveling around the world trying to do some demos on Canadian food. And after one such demo out in China, one old gentleman walked up to me and said, "I wasn't impressed with what you did." You do not get that kind of an impression after a show like that. So I said, "What was the problem?" He said, "You were not honest." I said, "What did you find not honest?" "You didn't talk about polar bear meat or the raccoon that you guys eat." So I figured I've got my work cut out. So after that, I traveled through the world and asking people the same question, what they thought about Canadian food. And some thought we were just like our neighbors, having a lot of macaroni and cheese and fried chicken. And others thought we really did eat polar bear meat. So that made me come back and do some extensive research and come up with this creation.
All right, so what did you discover? What is true Canadian cuisine?
The uniqueness of this cuisine is it is not a flavor-based cuisine, but it's ingredient-based cuisine, which is really a key thing. A lot of other cuisines which is popular, like the Indian or the Thai, they're all very flavor-based. But we are really proud that it is such an ingredient-based. We have got some beautiful bounty like the fiddleheads, like the muskox, like the bisons, and that is what the cuisine has evolved.
Yeah, so you start in the book on the East Coast and you move to the West Coast and you look at the specific ingredients that are native to those regions.
Yes, exactly. And that is how what I've done is, with all those ingredients, I've got a section that is traditional Canadian food that the mothers and the grandmothers have been doing for centuries.
Like your pemmican.
Like my pemmican.
Yeah.
And like the lobster roll out East Coast.
Yes.
And but what I've also done with, I've taken those ingredients and given the new Canadian cuisine, which is inspired by the immigrant population. And the uniqueness of of Canada is we don't take the recipes from different parts of the world or from our immigrant families and fuse it together, but we make a mosaic out of it.
We do, you're right. So what do you say to people who say that, cherry picking from these other cultures isn't really a cuisine? If you're adding Indian spices, then that's Indian cuisine. It's not Canadian cuisine.
A very good example is, for example, fiddleheads, which is very Canadian.
Yes.
And what you do with the fiddleheads with some spices from around the world, it doesn't make an Indian food out of fiddleheads because
they're still
in India
fiddleheads.
there's not fiddleheads. So that is what is the uniqueness of our food here. And for example, in India, they haven't even heard of fiddleheads or muskox. But when you use those, you make a bison curry, which is one of the recipes in there.
I know, I saw
and that I think is very Canadian because of the huge Indian immigrants that's out here.
You're looking at eel, but you also cover things like a Bloody Caesar.
Yes, which is very Canadian.
Right. Tell me about that
Canadian.
a bit.
Bloody Caesar, it is from the West Coast, and it was, of course, invented in Canada. And that is why, anyway, it's all over the world right now.
But
we
it's
can
a Canadian
boast about it
invention.
as Canadian.
And some things like vinegar pie, butter tarts, they were from poverty.
It is.
From being poor.
It is, and most of our traditional traditional foods, I should say, has been developed through the necessity. And one such good example is the oatcakes. And the story is so fascinating that right in the middle of the sea, when there was a huge storm, the settlers didn't have much food to eat in the sea. All they had was barrels of oat. So they made cakes out of it.
And that's how we get oat
That's
cakes.
how we get our oat
Okay,
cakes.
what about son of a gun in a sack? I liked that one.
You like the name, eh?
I love that. But it's a dessert, right?
It is, and it is very much our Alberta from our prairies that has come up. And similarly, this book doesn't only have recipes, but it's got a huge history
It does, and you've got, I like that you've got wellness notes too. So it talks about, when you're talking about turnips, for example, you talk about that they contain vitamin C, B6, folate. So it's a bit of a health book too.
Absolutely, and these are the food that we are eating all the time. So we should know what we are eating and how we are eating to have a very healthy lifestyle.
And we should be proud.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what do you hope your book will do for Canadian food internationally?
One of my major goals of writing this book is to showcase our foods that we eat all the time to the world and show them that our Canadian cuisine is not only polar bear meat or fried chicken, but there's a lot more to it. And with this award out in Paris, it really gives me a pleasure to go there. And also I'm doing a presentation of Canadian food to 120 countries in Paris while I'm going to receive the award.
That's great.
I'm really excited about that.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
All right, I love your book. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Okay, Chef Suman Roy is the co-author of Pemmican to Poutine, A Journey Through Canada's Culinary History. And for more information on the book, go to chefsuman.com. That's chef, SUMAN.com. We'll post that link on our website as well. And just look us up at cbc.ca/here and now, or follow us on Twitter at CBC Here and Now.